All right, we are live.
We're back.
We're back. It's been
I
a
know we
while.
only took the 1 week off, but it feels longer
It does feel
for some reason.
longer.
I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah,
this
it
has
feels
been
like I
a
haven't done this in quite a while.
this has been a long 2 weeks for me personally, so it's definitely felt long to me, even though it hasn't
Okay.
been that long.
Oh yeah. Anything you want to talk about or not interesting?
Nothing I don't think legally could.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. Well, don't talk about that
because
then.
work related stuff. Yeah.
Um, Claire is currently flying to a convention that I'd never heard of. It
Pennsylvania,
sounds
too
like
many
they're having
games.
flight troubles.
Yeah, yeah. Go figure. This seems about
Have
right.
they been to Have they been to too many games before? I don't know if I've heard of this.
I'm not sure. The reason I know about this is because it's one of the ones that Angry Video Game Nerd kind of put on the map since he lives in Pennsylvania, and I was a big follower of AVGN for a long time. So that's how I know about it.
Yeah, I don't think I've even heard of it before, so I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's pretty far from here, across and like on the opposite side of the country for you, so it's pretty far.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah,
another
they seem to be stuck in
Clairless
Dallas.
episode.
I saw on their Blue Sky. So good luck to them.
Yeah, gross. Why be stuck in Dallas?
But what have you been up to? 2 weeks.
Yeah. So, Friendship is awesome. I watched that movie. That's a great movie.
Very funny, right?
So here's the thing: is that if you like Tim Robinson, you have to see it. If you don't, you're probably gonna hate that. Because holy shit!
I don't know why you would go to it if you don't like Tim Robinson.
Well, because maybe maybe they're like, oh, Paul Rudd, I like that guy. I don't really know about this other guy. Like, I pray for you because.
Okay. Well, in that scenario, if you don't know that guy, you can't say you don't like him. So.
True. Maybe you love him.
But it is just a long, like, I think you should leave because it is just him yelling. Like, I was shocked that movie was not written by him.
Yeah. And to like the point of while I was watching, I was like, oh, this is why those skits are as short as they are, because once they become longer than half an hour each, they're really uncomfortable. Like, this is getting worse and worse.
So you didn't like the movie?
No, I love the movie. What do you mean? I love cringy, uncomfortable shit. It's awesome.
Oh, okay. Well, you made it sound like because it was longer, it was getting bad.
No. It just uncomfortable. Like, this is this situation is untenable for this guy.
I don't want to give away spoilers, so just give me like a liked it, didn't like it. I want to throw a couple scenes at you. The drug trip.
Yeah, that's really good. That was really good.
Yeah.
For me,
what about when he when he just eats the soap?
That's one of the most uncomfortable, cringy moments in that whole movie.
That's pretty. That's pretty bad too.
Yeah. Oh god. And
every time it seems like, okay, this guy's gonna get his life on track. It seems like he learned his lesson. He just fucking doubles down, and it's like, what is happening now? What are you doing?
Yeah, like there's a point in that movie where you're just like, oh, it's over. Like, they're all good on decent terms or whatever. Like, things have evened out. And then he does another thing, and you're just like, why? It was perfect.
Yeah. Like, you've dug this hole already.
Again. Yeah.
One that the person I went to see the movie with that made her laugh a ton was during the like welcome back party where people are doing a couple speeches on the chair, and the one guy just being like, we should never have left Afghanistan just out of nowhere in the background.
Yeah, that's a really good part, actually. It's really funny. Man, that thing is cool. So my whole thing is that it's cool seeing like you've seen the Cable Guy, right? Because it has that same energy, but from the opposite side of the person who's losing his mind.
Like Larry the Cable Guy?
No, like the Jim Carrey movie, The Cable Guy.
No, okay, no.
About this friend that gets like way too obsessed or whatever, but like,
okay,
you watch it from Matthew Broderick's point of view of the person who's like being chased by the Cable Guy who is like way too needy. This is like the flip side, but the same energy.
Sure. Okay.
So it was kind of interesting. Yeah. Yeah, that's That's a thing. That's an interesting movie. I
As
like
for
it.
movies, I saw Elio,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
the new
It took me a
Pixar
second.
movie,
Yeah,
from which the headlines I was reading, apparently the worst opening for a Pixar movie ever.
sure.
Which I feel like it's saying a lot, because I remember like nobody going to see Onward. In fact, I
You're
bet
right.
most people listening to this had to just sit there and be like, "What was Onward?"
I forgot that Onward existed actually until you just said it.
And
So
that was the
sure,
last movie I saw right before the pandemic, so I can't imagine it had a great opening. But
sure.
I didn't. Who knows? I didn't actually read that article. I just read the headline.
Yeah.
But I will say, Elio, I did not like the first act because it just seemed extremely like silly and kid focused.
Mm.
The second and third act I thought were much better. The thing I wanted to bring up was there's a joke in the middle of this movie, very funny. Just for anyone who has seen the movie, or if you're going to see it, it involves a red light, so you know which one I'm talking about. I thought that was a really funny joke. There was a dude in the row behind me
Yeah.
who, this must have been the first joke he has ever heard.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
this man was losing it for a while. Like, he was dying of laughter, and in not like an ironic way. Like, so he kind of ruined it for me, at least, because it was like, what are you doing? Like, calm down. But that was just odd. That was just something weird to experience. Something that was kind of cool to experience is, because of my location, when I'm sitting through the credits to see like the after credits scene and stuff like that. And every like few minutes, a different chunk of the theater would like erupt in applause, because I bet I was watching it with a bunch of Pixar employees and their like families and friends.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
that was just kind of interesting. And yeah, it happened like 5 or 6 times. It was like, oh, that corner's now cheering and clapping and stuff. So I bet someone's name just came up on the credits. Blah blah blah. That was kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that is cool. That's interesting.
This weekend, I'm looking forward to the F1. I hear that one's pretty enjoyable.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd be interested to hear how that is. I watched K-pop Demon Hunters as well. That movie is really good. That's an incredible
no idea what
movie.
this is.
You should check that out because you like the animation stuff as well. It's on Netflix, so that's kind of a bummer.
Okay.
But yeah, no. For me, it's like so far this year's like Spider-Verse or whatever. Like it just has that like fun writing and just like good action and whatever. Like it's fun.
Okay.
It's a good time.
While we're talking about streaming animated movies, I'll give a shout out to the new Predator.
I still have to catch up on that. Yeah.
Animated. That one was pretty enjoyable. I liked it. Yep. And it's directed by the guy who did Prey. So there are some connections to Prey.
Okay.
Which was good. And I liked Prey quite a bit. So
Prey's great. It's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about some video games. We got 2 weeks worth of it.
Yes.
This is the Top Down Perspective, June 26th. I'm Sean Booker.
I'm Paul Fleck, and Sean, what have you been playing?
Okay, I've been playing a lot. I don't want to like toot my own horn here, but I feel like the list of games I have here is pretty exciting. I want to hear your take on it.
There's one in here that I really need to know about, and it's probably
Well, I'll ask you. What do you want to hear about first?
I want to hear about Mindseye because I have heard nothing but bad.
Yeah, so I didn't even realize I had access to this, but I have an Epic Store Press account, and I was like, let's just see if it's in my library. Let's just do a quick search, and it was there, and I was like, all right, well, I gotta know. I don't like this game.
Yeah, okay.
I played about an hour of it.
Yeah.
Really buggy, tons of like pop in, tons of just like stuttering while like driving. At one point, it was actually the last cutscene I watched. Everything was just kind of shaking, like. But in not a way where it's like, okay, this is rendered in engine, so these are like in scenes. This is clearly this was not an in engine cutscene, and you can tell, the like the facial animations and stuff. The performance is good, or like the character animation is good. So it's this rendered out cutscene, but everything was just shaking. It almost like like my computer wasn't running it properly. Like it just took this isn't actually what was happening, but I'm trying to paint like a picture. Think if you were watching this in a window, and the window was just shaking the whole time.
Oh, that's awful. Okay, yeah, that's really
so
bad.
I was like, okay, well, I don't know how. I'm gonna turn this game off after this cutscene. I just need the cutscene to end. It was pretty boring, and it that was kind of the big thing. Like, again, I put about an hour into it before I was like, this dialogue sucks.
Mm.
Do not care what's happening. But one of the craziest parts is, you're this guy named Diaz. You're like breaking into someone's office because he's somehow connected to the implant in your head, and something about your memories is gone. They don't like paint a good picture of kind of what's happening, and they seem like they're like trying to skip ahead to stuff. Things are kind of coming out of nowhere. People are just acting odd. And then at one point, after the like random cutscene, a portal opens up. This has nothing to do with like the story, and it just says, "Hey, side quests will appear during the game. If you want to walk into the portal, you can do a side quest." And then you play a really bad like Middle East war shooting section that times you, so you can play it again if you want to do it faster.
Oh,
what? And it has like nothing to do with anything. While he's doing this like monologue about how like war is rough, man, and it leaves a toll on you, and it's like, what? This has literally nothing to do with anything happening in the actual story. Here's another weird thing that I thought was odd. This is a main quest. I was just kind of driving to the next like to like where the next thing I had to do was, right? So I had to drive from like one spot to the next, and in the corner it's like, hey, we're just gonna time you, see if you can beat it. Why? Like no narrative reason. The game was just like, let's see if you can get there in under this time, like for nothing in-game reason. Just why don't you drive fast?
The reason is just like because you're playing a video game, I guess. Like that's the reason.
Like it's almost like they thought like people are gonna get bored driving from point A to point B. Why don't we try to like gamify it a little bit? Not that there's like points or kind of anything to gamify it. Why don't we just put a timer in the corner? There's no penalty. There's nothing. Why don't we just put a timer in the corner? Why is this here? Like what?
I mean, I think you even said this like 2 weeks ago when we last did a thing. The writing was kind of on the wall for Mindseye, right? Because they obviously had no faith in this thing, like, at all going in. So, yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know if it's that, but I have to assume that they were under some kind of time crunch, right?
Yeah, of course.
Otherwise they would have put this out. And there's been a lot of kind of speculation in the last couple of weeks. I'm sure Grand Theft Auto, at one point coming out this fall, forced a lot of people to release earlier. I think Kojima even said Death Stranding 2, they worked hard to get this out when they did to avoid Grand Theft Auto in the fall.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of, I didn't grab this for news. I actually forgot about it, but that just reminded me. I think Build a Rocket Boy, the studio behind Mindseye, actually just announced that they're laying off like over 100 people now, which is sad to hear. It's also crazy to hear that there's that many staff members at that studio.
That's a good point.
I think when I did hear that reporting, they have like over 300 people, which is a ton. But anyways, my heart goes out to the people affected by this, because I'm sure Mindseye's performance is partially leading to this, right?
Oh, I would assume so. Yeah, for sure. Man,
I don't think I'm gonna play much more Mindseye because it's just not a good game, and there's a lot of other games I want to play.
Of course, yeah, no, that makes sense. So I know that you've wrapped Death Stranding 2, and I know it's going to be hard to talk about the things I want to know about because they're story stuff. So we won't talk about that stuff, obviously.
Well, I mean, you can ask some stuff, and I can try and talk around some things, but yeah, I don't want to spoil things.
I guess like the big thing is it as big and like weird and stupid in the right way that the first one was story-wise?
I think it's bigger and stupider.
Yeah. Okay, that's the right answer.
So here's my thoughts. So I did not finish Death Stranding 1. I got about 20 hours into it. I restarted it a bit before Death Stranding 2. Just to see if I could get through it in time. I could not.
Yeah, it's a big game.
I like Death Stranding 2 a lot more than 1, because I think more people will grab onto this one. I think the beginning, it's a lot faster. So having just kind of gone through the beginnings of both of them, 1 is way slower, whereas in 2, second mission, you already have a vehicle and a gun.
Yeah,
like you can just play this game pretty aggressively, and that was pretty great. Whereas the first one, you don't get weapons or like a vehicle for like 5 or 6 hours. And like the first weapon you get in 1 is like a grenade, which is like that's not the most aggressive way to be fighting stuff. And you have to kind of sneak around the BTs. This one, you can kind of just put like 2 middle fingers up and like fight your way through stuff pretty easily, which gelled a lot better with me. I will say though, in terms of like the anime nonsense, this one has absolutely dialed it up.
Yeah. Okay.
For anyone who's upset that there is no more Metal Gear Solid games coming, Death Stranding 2 is a Metal Gear Solid game without stealth corridors.
Sure.
So if you like Metal Gear Solid, you need to be playing Death Stranding 2. And I'll give you one kind of quick anecdote without spoiling too much. At one point, I fought a robot octopus after a ghost man came out of the tar and challenged me to a quote unquote boss battle.
I mean, this sounds normal for Kojima, to be honest with you, though. Like, yeah, that tracks. Of course. Sure.
Yep. Yeah. I liked it quite a bit. I think it's much more approachable. It has a way better on ramp. And yeah, I played through it. It took me about 30 hours. I did not do much side quest stuff, except one of them was like, do you want to learn the truth of the ghost hunter? And I said, yes, I do.
Well, yeah, I mean, who says no to the truth of the ghost hunter?
Yep.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I want to play Death Stranding too, but I'm pretty sure I'm not going to play it until it's on PC, so I'll talk about it next year, I guess.
So like a year from now?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but I do feel like I'm missing out a little bit, but it's okay.
Yeah, people are loving it. That thing's got a huge Metacritic score.
Yeah. I do love that Kojima's like thing is he doesn't love that people like unanimously love it as much because he wants it to have like a little more impact in their soul. He wants people on both sides to be like, I hate it and I love it or whatever. It's like, that's
he wants
hilarious.
to put some friction in there. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of a weird thing to say it, but
pretty hilarious.
I mean, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good game. I quite enjoyed my time with it. The characters are pretty enjoyable. And like I said, just some absolute nonsense happens, whether that's crazy boss fights or just like out of nowhere dance sequences in the middle of what should be like a tense moment.
Sure. Yeah, sounds about right. Sounds about right.
I'm getting a question. How is DS2 on the PS5 Pro? Yeah, I played it on the PS5 Pro. I thought it was great. I remember saying this about the first game. Death Stranding 2 looks absolutely gorgeous. I thought the first game looked really gorgeous too. Obviously, this looks a lot better.
Yeah.
But I've been seeing just tons of like comparison shots on like Blue Sky and stuff of Norman Reedus' character, and it's like night and day.
Sure.
But yeah, it just looks like it is such a good looking game for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, it makes sense. Part of I haven't looked up like how it plays, but I don't have a PS5 Pro, so like I'm worried that it'll like play like shit in some spots too. Like it's just better if I get the version I know that will be the best for me at this point.
Sure. Yeah.
It's weird because again, I don't think I should buy a PS5 Pro, but if I had one, this decision probably would have been easier of like, yeah, I'll just pick that up. Oh well.
Yep. Makes sense. Okay, and then last game I'll talk about, and I wanted to talk about this last week, but we didn't do a show because that's when the embargo was up. But FBC Firebreak, it looks like both of us have been playing it.
Yes. Yeah.
Paul, I've been talking a bunch. Give me your thoughts.
So it's weird because when FBC Firebreak came out, I kind of hated it. They patched out a lot of things that I hated. So it's easier to get into now. So the big thing that this game did at first is that it had pretty like bad weapons and loadout stuff right from the get-go. Because they want you to like unlock more stuff and have that progression. The problem is that they had kind of like a battle pass sort of format where you had to progress through pages of stuff and you had to unlock pages to get to other pages. With
it was
like
basically Helldivers too, how they do it.
It was basically Helldivers, but everything was put into one. And what they changed is that they split it up into a cosmetics like thing and a progression / weapons gameplay sort of thing. So now when you play right from the beginning, you have the opportunity pretty easily to start upgrading weapons so it doesn't feel like dog shit right away. So that's great. That's a good change.
Also, who wants sprays?
Well,
like, show me someone who gets excited about unlocking a spray, and I'll show you a liar.
Well, I know Nathan was pretty excited about getting one, but...
Why? What? Why?
I don't know. He loves sprays, I guess.
I don't get it, man.
Another thing is that before there's 3 clearance levels to every stage, and what this basically is that every stage has 3, like, call them levels or something in them, and it gets a little more difficult or more involved as you go through. At the beginning, before they changed it, you could only do one at a time, so you had to do clearance level 1 of a stage before you could do 2, before you could do 3, then before you could do corrupted items as well. So the grind was just like you doing the same thing over and over mindlessly until you could get like the good version of it that gives you like better rewards. They changed that so you can do 3 right away, even though you do still need to do 3 at least once before you unlock corrupted items. Like they made a lot of good changes, basically 3 days after it came out, so like pretty quick. So after that, I think I can recommend it more. It's just a little easier onboarding and all of that stuff. I still don't think if you don't have people to play with, it's worth the frustration, because there is no way to communicate with other people for a co-op thing. And sometimes there's humor in that, where you're just like, oh man, these guys I'm with like don't know what they're doing, this is crazy, or blah blah blah. But most of the time it's like, you idiot, come here now, I need you to put me out, I'm on fire, holy, I'm dead. Like it's just frustrating.
Yeah, I'm kind of hit or miss on it. So like some of the modes I just do not like. Like, you know, it's pretty much the moment to moment gameplay is like Left 4 Dead. You're getting constantly swarmed by various enemy types, and you know, it gets a little bit monotonous in that way. I hate the dudes where you need to like shoot the dude on its back. Those are so annoying.
They're really annoying. Yeah.
But then like, so the sticky note one, which paper chase,
it's the worst.
It is just not fun shooting sticky notes.
So it's not the worst, but it is the most boring. The worst one is the one where you're constantly being frozen, because being frozen in this game is awful.
That one's not great either. What Paper Chase does have going for it is it has one of the most interesting like third acts.
It has a boss.
It's the boss.
Yeah.
But it's the only one that has that.
Yep, that's annoying too.
And that's funny. Although I do have issues with Sticky Ricky where I don't think they explain enough of how to like damage it. So it took me and my team like a few times to be like, what are we doing wrong here? Why can't we? But anyways, so it's already kind of monotonous in terms of just constantly shooting these enemies over and over again, and then you are also shooting the wall as there's sticky notes on it. So I'm not a huge fan of that one. Agreed. I also wish every job had a pretty significant change in terms of the third act, and only a few of them do, because like the one with the goo, the pink goo, which I forget the name of that one.
Frequency shift.
Yeah, the third act is the same as the other 2 acts. It's just do it again.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's kind of a bummer. At least with like, you know, the Paper Chase has the boss. The fire one has okay, now you got to get these barrels into like the thing into at the end. So that one's different. But it's like I wish there was more of the bosses, because that was one of like the coolest things about Control is like the weird bosses. And then that kind of leads into my next point is I just wish there was more Control in this in terms of like weird stuff going on. Yeah, because I just don't think there's enough.
You know, it's annoying too, because like the objects of power and stuff like that are so cool. Like the way that they change up how your like kind of basic classes acted, like that is very Control. So one of the kits they call it, which are your loadouts or your perks or whatever,
your class,
your class is you have a wrench. It's the Fix-It kit, and
this is the one I play. Yeah,
you can hit stuff and it'll, if it's something that doesn't need to be charged or whatever, like if it's something that needs to actually be physically fixed, it'll fix it quicker or instantly if you upgrade into it. And you can use that to melee like enemies as well, even though it's not very good. But your ultimate essentially is you have this object of power that's a piggy bank, and you basically strap it onto your wrench. You smoke somebody with it, and it turns into this giant like vortex of coins and money, like just doing a bunch of damage to everything in the area, like just shit like that. That's like the teapot for the water, turning the water into hot water, so you're essentially using a flamethrower now. Like that stuff is very good, and I wish there was more. I kind of just wish there was more of everything. I wish there was more missions, wish there was more kits, different enemy types. Like it just feels to me like this is very much an early access thing right now, which is like you can get into it on Game Pass, which is the way I would recommend it, but like Other than like a week of fun, there's probably not much there after.
Well, I know they were also advertising it as this is not something where you're going to come back like daily missions and quests and stuff like this. Just you dip in and out, and I do think it is better that way because I just don't think there's like a ton of that differing content here.
Agreed.
But just as someone who likes Control and the Remedyverse so much, this barely is touching kind of any of that.
Yeah.
I just want the weird stuff. I want the weird stuff from Control, and like they're barely even talking about any kind of lore stuff. Like at one point they're like, "Have you guys seen that weird janitor?" And that's all I've heard in terms of like touching the rest of the universe. So that like I was hoping to see kind of more Easter eggy stuff, or maybe even like the levels changing, because the levels don't change, which is pretty wild. And I feel like it would be pretty easy to be like, oh yeah, the oldest house, the walls shift. So that's why these stages are like procedurally generated. Like that would have been a bit more interesting, because right now it's just like, okay, here we go, paper chase. I know if I go left here, there's going to be a safe room, and then if I go up the stairs, there's going to be the other safe room, and the other one's on the opposite corner. And I know if I go down here, I'm going to turn the lights on by hitting this one. And it's just like, I've done this again. I don't want to do it again. So I'm having a hard time wanting to go back to it each time. I know they're going to add 2 more job types by the end of the year, and I'll jump in and try those out. But I think my time with FBC Firebreak is pretty much at an end at this point.
That's fair. Yeah. I guess like the only thing that kind of adds a nice little change every now and then is that when you play with the corrupted items, those are kind of randomly generated, and they kind of have different like skulls or whatever, depending on like different effects on the enemies to make it more difficult or whatever until you defeat them. And that's kind of the only thing that changes up the gameplay on a minute-to-minute basis, is those things, essentially.
I just don't think I'm looking for like more difficult. I'm looking for more interesting. Like, things are difficult enough. When that dude where I need to shoot him in the back shows up, I'm annoyed at how difficult it's going to be to take him down.
Yeah. And it gets even worse. Like, what is it? The snare drum, a corrupted item, makes everything faster. So those guys actually are just impossible, because by the time you get around them to hit them,
I've only
turn around.
I've only seen the crowbar and the stoplight.
Okay. Yeah.
And the stoplight sucked when I was fighting Sticky Ricky, and we didn't know what to do. And then we weren't allowed to move at some points while there was like 2 of those big dudes chasing us. Yeah, that was we ended up losing that one.
Yeah, it actually does a pretty bad job onboarding you as to what that shit even is or how you deal with it. Like, it took me way too long to know that the only way you can kill them is with a Blackrock grinder gun, because like I was shooting at them.
We kind of figured that eventually, but also you don't get those like whenever. There's like 1 per level. What if you already used it?
There's multiple per level, but they're hidden kind of everywhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
They're hard to find sometimes, and then you're just like, what the fuck? Like, I can't get rid of this thing that is constantly freezing me. This is awful.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of frustration in there. That being said, this week, Nathan has been playing with me because he's been like back home from what he's doing or whatever. And that game with friends is like any game with friends, way funner. And he is super into that game because he likes the monotony, as you probably know if you're a long-time listener.
Okay. Oh, good for him. I'm glad he's enjoying it.
No, it's great, because then it's like, okay, when I'm playing with you, at least like there's happiness going on here. So like, that's great. That's making my time better. But when I'm playing by myself, it's awful. It's rough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's what I've been playing. What else have you been playing?
I took the time to just finish up a bunch of stuff that had been hanging. I'll start with the oldest thing. I went back and finished off the main story stuff of Final Fantasy XVI because I want to see that DLC, the second one specifically. Okay. So that's wrapped. And yeah, that's fine. That last fight is very long in the way that I was expecting it to be, because I forgot how nothing in that game dies, and that game doesn't care about your time, doesn't respect your time at all. Every cutscene is about 10 minutes too long. Every boss fight just takes way too long to whittle down, but there's so much cool, weird flair going on that it's kind of okay in the end, either way.
Okay, I barely remember the end of that game.
You fight a big dude like 20 times because it's an RPG, so yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Speaking of which, I finished off Clair Obscure Expedition 33, and I one-shot that boss. Like,
yep.
Yeah. That boss had nothing. Like, I think when it only shows how much damage you do to like finish it, and I think it was like 80,000 or something. It's like, oh, I hit for like 5 million. Like, this is nothing. I guess we're just done. Yeah, that game is still one of the best games I played in a long time. I love that ending. I love those characters and all that sort of thing. Yeah, it's just really, really good. That's a really, really good game. People should play
Glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah. And then I finished off Doom the Dark Ages, which, as you may remember, I was not sure where I landed on a while ago. I was maybe a little more negative on it. And I think I warmed up a little bit to it by the time it was like ready to end, because I had my full arsenal unlocked. I kind of had like my rhythm that I liked. I think the shield runes are interesting and fun, just trying different things out, because they all do some like incredibly different things and different ways you can go through hordes of enemies.
I like the gun one.
The gun one is fucking hilarious. The like heaven lightning one is the one that I used a lot of, because it was just super good at like keeping a bunch of dudes locked down while I focus on one big one or whatever.
Okay.
There's a lot of cool shield stuff in there. I still am a little disappointed about the big mech things, the Atlan things, but there is a boss fight with the Atlan, and that boss fight is like, okay, this is the culmination. Like, I had to go through the bad stuff to get to this awesome part, so that's cool, at least. Like, at least there's a payoff there, which I didn't feel there was with the dragon. I think the dragon's still just bad game design. I don't like it. Yeah,
fair enough.
That's a good game, but yeah, nothing special. And I started the Altars. I don't have a lot to say about it yet, but I think the premise of that game is super cool. For anybody who doesn't know, it's basically a survival game where you're trying to race against the clock. The sun is going to essentially destroy the planet you're on after you crash landed on a planet, and the way you are trying to get off of it is by altering your past to make clones of yourself to do different things. And it's just really cool narrative hook.
Yeah, this game sounds cool, and I've been hearing people talk well about it. Survival games and me don't click.
Yeah, so that's the thing, is that my biggest worry going more into it is like, your narrative hook and all that stuff is fucking phenomenal, but that gameplay though.
I believe it's also isn't it Zayan or Zan? How you pronounce that? Like the some people who worked on Disco Elysium.
I think so. Yeah.
Isn't it that studio?
I think so.
Zaum, or however that thing is pronounced.
I don't know how to do it. Yeah, that game's like idea is so good that I'm definitely okay, probably just like dragging myself through some of the stuff I don't want to do so much, but the first like couple hours at least so far have been fine. They've been pretty basic enough on like the survival aspect of it. So yeah, I guess more to come as I play more of that, but I'm pretty early on, so I don't have a strong opinion yet of it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's do some news then. I picked a few things from the last 2 weeks or so.
Okay.
Most of it is this week, but let's start off with Street Fighter, because there was a Capcom showcase today, and I guess they announced that 50 Cent is going to be Balrog in the new Street Fighter live action film.
I saw this Skeet tweet, whatever, the Sky thing. I saw this post, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's funny.
Which I have not been following who is cast in this live action movie. I guess Jace Momoa is Blanca.
I guess so, yeah. I haven't been either.
I don't know who the rest of these people are.
Yeah.
But Jason Momoa, Blanca, that could be. I bet he's gonna have fun with that.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's good casting. That's a good fit.
I don't know what to think of about a Street Fighter movie. They're usually bad, but it's also, there's like no story here other than they fight each other. So I don't even know.
They could do anything. Yeah.
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 I bet I'm gonna guess it's gonna be about as good as that Mortal Kombat film from a couple years ago.
That would be okay. That would be pretty good, I think.
On a more bummer note, there's going to be another round of layoffs at Microsoft. What I'm confused about is why we know about this like ahead of time. Usually, when these things get reported, it's like this happened this morning or so. Um, but it sounds like they are getting ready to do another round of major layoffs. This is Microsoft affect Xbox. One thing to note is this is the fourth big layoff at Xbox in the past 18 months.
Yeah, damn.
Which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
No word on how many people are going to get laid off, but at some point they're going to run out of people.
Well, that's nice and stressful for the employees there, right? It's like, yeah, we're going to lay some of you off. Okay, great.
That's the other thing is like, yeah, mentioning it like ahead of time.
Yeah.
You're just like under the knife at this point. Like, what? I would be like sweating buckets.
Yeah, like at what point, if you're an employee there, it's like, we're going to lay a bunch of you off and you're like low level, or you just like, okay, you know what? I'm just not going to go in then. Fuck you. Like, what the fuck? How do you say this to us?
Or do you like think maybe they haven't decided yet, so now I need to like be extra good for the next
maybe
week or two? Like, that is beyond stressful.
Yeah, it's so rude. It's not good.
This Bloomberg article mentions that Bloomberg News earlier reported that Microsoft plans to cut thousands of jobs next week, largely in sales. The tech giant often makes major organizational changes close to the end of its fiscal year, which will conclude on June 30th. So maybe we'll hear just before the holiday here in the States how many people are losing their job.
There you go. July 4th, hell yeah, Independence Day.
Yeah. In kind of happier capitalism news, the Lies of P devs, which recently put out their Overture DLC, and it sold like over 3 million copies as of a couple weeks ago, so good for them. And as a bonus that they're doing, this is the South Korean studio. Everyone is getting they're getting like a whole bunch of bonuses. Where's the list here?
They're getting $7,300 US converted extra. They're getting 2 weeks of paid vacation on top of their mandatory 2 weeks that they're already given by the government, and they were all given Nintendo Switches. Yeah,
and they're getting Switch 2s. Everyone's getting a Switch 2 as a reward for hitting the sales milestone. So hey, good for them.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's so good.
I am very excited to play this DLC. I'm just waiting for like releases to slow down a little bit.
I've heard it's pretty difficult, so I'd be interested to hear if you have a difficulty with it when you go in.
Oh, great. Well, I mean that game was already hard enough, so
sure, yeah.
I'm actually gonna jump stories real quick to go to this next one while we're talking about kind of layoffs and whatnot. Splitgate 2.
Oh, fuck.
Developers. 1047 Games. They had layoffs, an unspecified number of staff. This was a week ago. It was reported on the 21st. But the one thing I really wanted to point out is that the two CEOs of the studio are pausing their own salary while they work on perfecting Splitgate 2, which I think is pretty great and pretty rare to see. We're constantly giving kind of like the C-level staff of these companies shit over laying off kind of the working devs, the lower people. But I think it's actually pretty great on them, and we don't see this often, of them pausing their salary. And I bet doing that saved some people from getting the axe, and keeps them working. So I just wanted to shout out that that's actually a pretty cool thing.
Yeah. It's rough because, I mean, the story is, hey, remember you were going to make FPS great again? It's a good way to do it, huh? Getting rid of your whole... Like, the story around this is real hard for them right now.
True. Well, actually, while we're talking about kind of CEOs and stuff, I'm gonna retroactively put in another news story here at the bottom. Stephen Totillo's Game File reported earlier today about EA CEO Andrew Wilson receiving $30.5 million in stock pay cash over the last 12 months.
I saw this
and
chart.
He put a chart in here to kind of compare where that amount of money in relation to like the typical salary.
Yeah.
I highly recommend people looking this up. And Paul, while you're on here, if you go into this article, there's two charts. If you could look at the second one and kind of paint a word picture for us of what this chart looks like.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think I know a good way to do it here. So I'll start at the top, and this is what the CEO makes, and I'll just keep making sound until it ends.
When you get to the bottom, is what you're saying?
Okay. Now this is what the median worker makes. In comparison.
Yeah. Like, you have to scroll for so long down this chart.
So I read this on my phone, and it was rough.
And then you get to see the average person. And then one other point about this is actually the median EA worker compensation actually has gone down as of last year by about 40K. So just another little twisting of the knife.
Yeah, even though the CEO one went up like a few 100%. So that's awesome. Very cool.
Yeah.
No, it's gross. Is what I'll say. It's gross.
Yeah, I've been seeing this chart kind of going around Blue Sky today because it is pretty staggering. At kind of what, but hey, good on Stephen Totillo for reporting this. It's definitely worth shining a light on. That's capitalism, baby.
Yeah, I guess I know there's people that just listen. To put it in numbers, the lowest the CEO in this graph amount is 18 million. And the highest that the average median worker one is 149,000. So there's such a huge
and that was last
gap.
year's medium, and this year's medium is like 114 or something like that.
And like the CEO ones, there was a giant dip, I will say, but it generally goes up, and the worker one generally either stays the same or weirdly goes down as the CEO one goes up. And I think that's what people are focusing on. It's like, how are you making more when everyone else is making less? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and you know, and I kind of want to touch on that Splitgate thing again, because like I said, this is the typical narrative we see.
Yes.
As all these layoffs keep happening. It's like, how are you laying off all these people, but you made more money than last year? So I think that's why you should celebrate the two founders at 1047 for kind of doing the exact opposite. And you know, and the other thing is, we always talk about like Iwata cutting his salary in half to do that, and we never saw people doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's pretty rare, but I think when we do see kind of those like bright moments, we should try to champion them when we can, because again, look at Andrew Wilson. If he had paused his salary, guess how many people would still probably have a job at EA? I bet their median salary would not have gone down.
If they had kept everybody, like when he made 39 million in 2021, if they had kept everybody at 124 or whatever, made that 39 million back down to maybe even 30 million, take 9 away from him, I bet they don't lay anybody off at all.
Yeah. So
like, it's stupid. It's actually stupid.
Yeah, pretty ridiculous.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about some Sega stuff. They had a big leak this week.
Oh, okay.
Bunch of sales numbers came out, but they're pretty interesting. So we kind of got some lifetime totals of a bunch of some of their specific games. I just kind of want to go through them and kind of call out what some of their properties have made. Obviously, these are broken down by like fiscal year for from 2020 until right now, and then they have a total. The big outlier is that Persona 5 has sold over 7 million copies.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why Joker is in everything.
True.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see what their kind of lowest one, and it looks like it's the Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name, the kind of side story one, is just under 1 million.
Yeah.
But everything else is kind of around the 2 to 4 million mark for the most part.
Yes.
With Persona 5 being like the big outlier. The second highest one there is Sonic Frontiers, which was 4.5 million.
Sure. I mean, that makes sense. It's a Sonic game. Like, Sonic brings people in.
And arguably, like, one of the kind of more interesting takes on Sonic. Like, that's one that, like, I picked up because I needed to see, and then was, again, equally disappointed as I always am, because it's like, oh, this is just Sonic. Okay, well, you fool me once, fool me twice.
Yeah. Won't get fooled again, or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. No, never happening again. So,
yeah. Total War.
I think this is also where
it's good.
Say it again.
Total War doing pretty good too, number wise.
Yeah, those, I feel like Europe, those just always do like quietly good enough that they just keep making them.
Yep, people love them.
And then it's not in this article, but I believe this is where the new cameo characters for the upcoming racing game were also revealed that the bunch of Nickelodeon stuff is coming, like SpongeBob
Yeah,
in that game.
I
So
did see that.
there
Yeah,
you go.
that's cool. That's good.
All right, Adi Shankar, the producer of the Castlevania and Devil May Cry animes on Netflix, has bought the rights for a Duke Nukem series.
Yeah. Okay. Like, I need to know more information. Who's the Duke? Who do we think?
No, I mean, if it's animated, which it seems like this person kind of sticks to animation, why don't you
Oh yeah.
just get the usual guy?
Is he still doing stuff? I can't
I have no
remember his
idea.
name now. It's driving me nuts.
I also don't know anyone other than Claire who like really likes Duke Nukem.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. I don't know. Some of those
Um,
games were okay a long time ago.
so there's kind of two questions pulled out of this interview. I'll read them for us here. What do you have coming next? And he responds, I got video games in production. Obviously, more Devil May Cry. I'm being approached with different IPs and companies that want to work with me. I bought the rights to Duke Nukem, not the gaming rights, but I bought it from Gearbox. I'm
Hmm.
wondering if like the movie did so bad, they were like, let's just who cares about movies anymore? Obviously the Borderlands movie. Let's just get rid of some stuff. I'm also
Maybe.
curious if Gearbox was planning to ever do anything with Duke Nukem after forever. And then the second question here, which is a little more interesting: what's your vision for Duke Nukem? It's a middle finger to everybody.
Great.
When Duke Nukem blew up, a bunch of people sat around trying to turn it into a brand. When it's just a middle finger, Duke Nukem can't be made by a corporation because the moment a corporation makes Duke Nukem, it's no longer Duke Nukem. I don't intend on having anyone tell me what to do with this one. Which I don't understand what any of that means. Duke Nukem's just pretty stupid. So
Yeah.
I have no idea what the vision is here.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
I
I'll
think at
probably
one
give it a
point he
shot.
says, shake it. And
He
a
does.
stripper is on screen.
And I think he pulls out money, like, because, it's a first person shooter. So,
I mean, there's no way this will be first person, but
oh,
that would
God,
at
that
least
would be.
make it interesting if they did. What was that action movie from a couple years back that was all first person?
Oh, my God. I was going to say
Anyway, but there's
Action
no way they do
Jackson,
that.
but it's not that. It's
No, I can't remember what it
Hardcore
is.
Harry or something.
That sounds right. Yeah,
Something like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I would not say I'm like excited for this because I don't care about Duke Nukem, but
I'll watch that.
we'll see if anything comes from this.
We'll see.
Yep.
Who knows?
All right, this was a couple weeks ago, but it's worth talking about. Marathon got delayed.
Yes, it did.
The original date was, I think, sometime in September. It's September 23rd. I'll just read some quotes from it here. Though every comment and real-time conversation on social media and Discord, your voice has been strong and clear. We've taken this to heart, and we know we need more time to craft Marathon into the game that truly reflects your passion. After much discussion within our dev team, we've made the decision to delay the September 23rd release.
Yeah. I don't know.
We're using this time to empower the team to create an intense, high-stakes experience that a title like Marathon is built around. This means deepening the relationship between the developers and the game's most important voices, our players. The weird part was here, though, the alpha test created an opportunity for us to calibrate and focus the game on what will make it uniquely compelling. Survival under pressure, mystery, and lore around every corner, raid-like endgame challenges, and Bungie's genre-defining FPS combat. There was also something about here about like tying it more to the original Marathon, which I didn't know if people were actually asking for that, but okay.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really care about Marathon back then, and I kind of don't now, to be honest. So,
Yeah. So
if it
like I
makes
went
some
into
people
the
happy, sure.
actual dev update, and they have kind of 3 points that so some of our immediate focus areas will be upping the survival game, which is broken down into more challenging and engaging AI encounters, more rewarding runs with new types of loot and dynamic events, making combat more tense and strategic.
Mm-hmm.
The next point is doubling down on the Marathon universe. Increased visual fidelity is part of that, more narrative and environmental storytelling to discover and interact with, a darker tone that delivers on the themes of the original trilogy. And the last one is adding more social experiences, which is a better player experience for solo/duos and proximity chat. So social stories can come to life.
I didn't realize proximity chat wasn't in there, but okay, sure.
Did you play any of the alpha?
No, there's nothing about it that looked interesting to me, honestly, at all.
Played like a couple missions. But yeah, it didn't do much for me, but I wouldn't say it was like disliking it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, they make good shooters, so I know that probably is competent at least.
I'm curious how much is this like we have put so much money into this, we cannot let it go. I mean, they let Concord go after putting a ton of money into this. Maybe they don't want to do that again. I don't know. It must be kind of a weird vibe at PlayStation these days.
Yeah,
if
I'm
you're
sure.
on a live service game, if you're not, because those things keep getting like canceled, and then it seems just weird if you are a studio underneath PlayStation.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, last one. This is important to me. I believe this was announced during the Arc System Works showcase that just happened.
Mm-hmm.
But new game from the creative director of Hotel Dusk. It was announced called Dear Me, I Was. It's coming to the Switch too. It's an adventure game. It's coming this summer, and I'm stoked. They also did Trace Memory. So Aitsuke Hanazaki. Probably screwed that up, but that's the director behind it. I'm always excited to see what they're working on, and I'm glad there's a new adventure game coming from them.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the trailer right now. Nice art style. I like it.
I mean, it's the art style that's always in those games, right? Like if you've played Hotel Dusk, that's exactly what it is. Big fan of rotoscoping.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's cool. Looks cool.
And yeah, summer 2025. That's right now. So that's got to be coming in a month or two.
Yeah. Oh,
all right,
the last
let's
thing
do
was
some
what
questions.
we talked about. Okay, yeah.
PopTimePerspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcasts on Blue Sky, the Discord channel, or Claire's P.O. Box are great ways to send questions in.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll start with this one from Matthew, who wrote, I have some ideas floating in my mind, and I want you to tell me if these are good or bad. Okay. All right. We can do that. That you've come to the right place.
Yeah, that's what we're here for.
Fighting games, MOBAs, and other competitive focused games should give players the option to choose what balance patch version you'll be playing with.
100% a good idea. Yeah.
I think that's a good idea. Does your opinion change if there's some kind of like online competitive scene?
No, because they would form their own rules. So like speedrunning does this a lot too, right? Where when something gets competitive enough, they're like, okay, you have to use like this emulator, this version of this or whatever. You can't use this. So like that would probably just form as like the competitive way to play a thing, MOBA or fighting game or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they would kind of like lean towards whichever is like the most popular one. But I do think if you are trying to kind of establish some kind of like competitive scene, there does need to be like a specific rule set.
Yeah.
Because I'm just trying to think in outside of game terms, like we need to know how basketball is played. Everyone can't be playing their own little versions of basketball. Like we do need one core rule set for like, and then it's like we got our street basketball rules.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But there does need to be like an agreed upon, like, and I guess in this like balance.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next one. Exploration heavy games should have a peaceful mode that lets you explore the world with all enemy encounters turned off or made non-hostile.
I feel like a lot of games do something similar, but yeah, it's just an accessibility mode essentially. Sure.
Yep, I think so too. A lot of these are just like, do you want like more options? And the answer is yes. Always put more options because like, why not? Yeah.
Yep.
Like again, I feel like the only time where it becomes an issue is if like you're trying to incorporate like multiplayer, and then you kind of do need to like kind of draw a line in the sand so that everyone's on an even playing field. But if it's like a single player thing, you're not harming anyone by making it easier or more accessible.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, last one. Games structured around completing repeatable missions should offer a skip the story mode that dumps you into the post game with whatever you would have unlocked in the story.
Interesting. Okay.
So my question for this is like, what, like, I don't, I guess I don't understand the customer here. You're somebody who you're buying a game, but you don't want to play any of the narrative. You just know the only thing you're interested in is the post game.
They should
and
do
I'm kind
this.
of
This is Monster Hunter. I don't fucking care about your stupid ass story. Just let me fight the fucking monster. 100%. That should be a thing.
Interesting. Okay.
Because that's the grind. For me, Monster Hunter is just fighting those monsters and getting the gear. I don't want to walk around in between every hunt.
But what if the story's good?
It's never good.
but like that doesn't mean it couldn't be.
Yeah, it means it isn't. It won't ever be. Capcom Monster Hunter team doesn't know how to do stories, so don't bother. Garbage.
I'm just saying, every new game is a new chance that maybe they're going to surprise you, isn't it? Like, wouldn't so like they could. It's a non 0% chance they could put a good story in there.
Sure, but I don't care about their story. I want to fight monsters. Otherwise, I'm not buying Monster Hunter. I'm buying literally any other game out there.
Okay. I don't think I would ever just kind of skip the story to go to an end game. I'm trying to think of any game like that where that would be of interest to me.
Sure.
I typically like play through the story and then stop playing the game, so I almost don't engage with the end game content.
And I can choose to do it.
I mean, again, I'm not going to say don't put this. Like, more options is better.
Always.
It just doesn't really like make sense for me because I would just never do this.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those like, do you want more options in your games? Yes, these are good ideas. That's the answer.
The closest I can think of is maybe Borderlands, because I don't want to hear the characters talk to me. Because the unfortunate part, as much as like maybe there's an interesting story here, they're going to fill 60% of it with Claptrap saying the word poop, and I don't need that. I don't need that in my life at this point. Yeah. So, regardless of how cool of a story they put in there, they can't help themselves from having Claptrap scream in my ears. So, but at the same time, I don't want to just skip those missions and go to the end game because like the gameplay is fun and I want the interesting missions and whatnot. I don't want the end game, which is typically a more kind of monotonous and like repeatable mission structure. I want the unique kind of set piece stuff.
Sure. No, that makes sense.
I just need Claptrap to be removed. So
that's the accessibility option. Would you like to remove Claptrap?
There you go. Yeah. Would you like us to change the story and not have Claptrap be involved? Absolutely.
Do you want us to make this game tolerable? Yes. Okay.
This is a free one. If anyone at Gearbox listening, I'll pay $10 more for a bonus edition, a collector's edition, if you will, where you've removed Claptrap.
A DLC that literally just deletes code out of the game. Oh god, that
you
would
even
be
think
so
of
funny.
like I think of God of War Ragnarok, where they turned down how much Atreyu was talking because he was like giving away puzzle solutions too fast, and some people didn't like that, so they put in a slider for how much like kind of assistance do you want on the more puzzle aspect of it. I want Borderlands to do that. Like, can I turn down the jokes?
How playable
or can I turn
do you
the
want
quality
this?
of the jokes up? I need them to look deep inside and say which of these jokes are good and which ones are bad, and then they need to be able to filter those.
Right. That honestly would actually be an incredible feature. If it's like, no, we know that some of our people want this stupid poop jokes or whatever, so those are in there. You just put the slider to like idiot mode.
Yeah. I'm saying I have several consoles now that have been hooked up to cameras. You can see if I'm smiling, if I'm laughing at your jokes. Okay,
sure.
I'm not saying I'm going to give you that data. I'm probably going to opt out of that because social media has ruined that for everybody. Yeah. But there is a multiverse world where you are seeing how much enjoyment I'm having, and you are noticing nobody's laughing at Claptrap. Then you're taking a long look in the mirror.
Yeah, really. Man,
Hey, don't take my word for it. The Borderlands movie was great, right?
ugh. I don't think there's anybody that even enjoys that movie, let alone says it's like tolerable. Like it's really bad.
I mean, yeah, I thought the same thing too, but then I met people who actually like the story of Borderlands, and that shocked me. So.
Yeah, is there a story? Because they're just they're looking for like loot. That's the story, right?
Yeah, but
Really?
there's like Handsome Jack, and then
Oh
in
yeah, I guess. Yeah.
3 there was like they were streamers. They were like influencer streamer bad guys.
Ugh,
Um,
that's awful.
there was that one that had a robot that kept making poop jokes. I remember that one.
Oh, all
That
of
story
them?
kept going for that game. That kept going. That story keeps going. In fact, I think. I don't think they finished
Man.
that story yet.
No, that I would be legitimately impressed though if it's like Borderlands 4. There is an option of the quality of jokes that you
The
want.
No Claptrap edition.
Yeah.
1 year later, we're coming out with a Game of the Year edition. Got all the DLC and 100% less Claptrap.
It's like, okay, take my money. Take my money.
Yep,
I
I'll
need
rebuy
to.
this.
I already have it, but I need to support this endeavor.
I'm gonna vote with my dollar.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Jacko304 writes, "Hey TDP crew, just finished listening to your GOATY 2020 podcast, Game of the Year 2020. It's time for this question again. In 2020, both Paul and Claire's Game of the Year was Cyberpunk 2077, and Sean's was Deadly Premonition 2. Wait, those are actually your most disappointing games of the year. 2020 was a tough year for a lot of people for a lot of reasons, and for some, it can obscure the good that happened this year. Can you guess what your real GOATY was? I'll leave some hints for you just in case. I didn't pull any of this because they were spoiler tagged and it would have spoiled it for me. And I can't get into the Discord right now because of the video. So are you able to?
I can get into the Discord. I can get into the Discord. I'll find it. This has to be from a.
So 2020.
You want to start trying to guess?
I mean, I'm
Okay,
pretty sure
yeah,
I
have
know
it.
what
I
my
have it.
2020 Game of the Year is, and I'm pretty sure it's Hades. So that's my guess. I guess Hades.
Okay. um. Okay, so I probably would not have been able to guess because I couldn't remember the release dates. I will tell us the hints that were given first.
Okay. I assumed yours was Hades too, because I remember two of us chose
However,
it.
since once you said what yours was, I now know what mine is. But anyways,
Oh,
Paul, the hint for you is a roguelike.
yeah, Hades. Okay, I'm correct then.
The hint for Claire is you play as a god fighting dead creatures.
Oh, Claire was the other Hades. So that you were. Holy
You
shit!
do know what mine is after you said Hades. So
What's your
mine
hint?
is Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Because Hades, it was Hades, and I think Hades is number 2 for me.
yeah.
It was Hades for quite a long time until I was playing Ghost of Tsushima, and I remember even saying to a friend, like, I'm about to get to the end of this. If this thing, like, nails that landing, it's taking my number 1 spot. And the ending of Ghost of Tsushima is so good.
Yeah, that whole that whole game is incredible. I wish it was a movie.
The hint for me is it's not Sekiro, which I don't know if that's much of a hint.
I never would have got that with that.
Okay, so the answers for Paul, Hades; for Claire, also Hades; and for me,
Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima.
I remember two of us had Hades. I couldn't remember
Yeah,
who.
I probably would not have remembered mine if you hadn't said Hades, and then that clued me into that a little bit.
Gotcha. I thought you were the other Hades person. I was trying to think what the hell
I believe
would
it's
Claire
number
been?
2 for me.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
Suka writes, choose odd or even. The Final Fantasies of the side you didn't pick disappear forever, as if they never existed. This won't erase spin-offs like Tactics or Adventures, but it will things like 13-2 and 4 After Years. Basically just the mainline games and their direct spin-offs. 7 Remake goes with 7. Dissidia is also safe, but with half the content. So what side did you like more?
So you know what's funny is that when you said choose odd or even, I immediately chose even in my head because I didn't read this question, and it sucks that for me Final Fantasy VII is gone because that's one of my favorites. That hurts. That's bad.
Does that hurt? Are there any other odds that you're sad are gone?
Honestly, I don't think so. Really.
I'm trying to think like which ones mean the most to me.
Mm-hmm.
7's up there, but
Yeah.
mostly just because of remake and rebirth.
Mm.
10 is up there.
10 for me as well is a big one.
I like 4 a lot.
Sure.
And
Yep.
I've heard incredible things, and I've been wanting to get to 6 forever.
I've been wanting to
So
replay
it's
6 recently, actually. 6 is one of my favorites,
so it,
so
and then I went through 16, and I liked my time with 16.
16's
So it
good.
seems like I'm more into the evens,
I played 14
but it
and I
does
still
suck that
do.
7 will be out of there.
Yeah, it
That
hurts.
does suck.
It does. Yep. Yeah. I'm gonna stick with evens as well because that MMO is also real good if you like MMOs because there's some good story shit going on in there.
Like 14, you mean?
Yeah, 14's really good. Yeah, interesting question though. I do like that. I just like immediately was like even. Oh fuck, 7's gone. Like damn, that sucks.
Yep.
Okay. There's gonna be a couple repeats here because it's been 2 weeks or whatever. So Jacko304 writes in the week after and writes, had the realization recently that I played Persona 5 Royale for well over 100 hours in the course of 2 or 3 months and can't remember a single point of that story that elicited any strong emotions, good or bad, outside of a joke me and my buddy made about the main character trying to return a book, but plot reasons prevented us from doing so. What is something, game, TV series, or even IRL thing that you spent a lot of time on, only for it to not have any positive or negative impact on you or your life? And then the inverse of that. What are some things I spent a lot of time on? Oh, Dota 2. That, like, when I was done playing that, I hadn't thought of it, like, basically ever again, really. Like, every now and then it pops up as like, oh yeah, that was a really fun game for, like, 500 hours. Oh, well. It's done, I guess.
I don't know. How about learning, like, trigonometry?
Oh, yeah, like school in general.
Like, I did that for, like, years, and it's like, no, haven't used cosine or tan once.
Yeah, the SOHCAHTOA.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think a game or TV series has done that, though. Like, I feel like if I spent that much time, I look back on it probably fondly. Because
Yeah.
otherwise, why was I playing it for that much time?
Maybe syndicated TV, if you just, like, watch a lot of something because it was on when you came home and you don't even remember. But, yeah, I don't know.
Yes, but there's almost like a weird nostalgia in that case because it was just such a different era of things. Like I just don't have
Yeah. And it burns in
like
your
my life.
brain.
No part of my life is coming home and guess what's on TV because my dad's watching it. Friends, or whatever the current thing is.
Sure.
Yeah, just cable in general is it's just a whole different thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so the inverse. What's something you spent very little time on that left a lasting impression on you? Oh, the game Journey. It's like what, 2 hours long?
Sure, Journey's a good one. Like, oh, Limbo. There's like so many of the like ones that everybody says too. Braid when that
This
came
one's
out.
almost too easy because like every movie is like 2 hours.
Every movie.
And it's like
yeah,
and obviously it's like, well, my favorite movie's a big deal, and like. So.
Yep, and it had a profound impact on me. Yeah, that one's way too easy. I think.
Phantom Aegis writes, out of these three nations, rank them in terms of quantity and quality you've had of their cuisine.
Quantity. Okay.
First one is Chinese.
Like, okay,
so you're ranking them on if you've had a lot and then if you liked it. Is that it?
Or are we ranking them against each other? I'm not sure. Because there's 3 choices here either way. And out of these, Chinese would probably be like the last place. So
it's Chinese, Mexican, and Italian.
Mexican is the most because in my household, that's what we ate for normal food generally.
Oh, they're in the chat. You're ranking those 3 against each other. Okay, so which one do you like the most? Middle and least. For me, it is probably. This is hard. I mean, I love all of these cuisines.
Yep.
Mexican's probably at the top for me. And then as much as like Italian's hard to rank at the bottom because it's like pasta and pizza. Like it's
A lot of
those are
good
delicious
stuff.
foods. But in terms of like what I would get excited about eating, it's probably Mexican, then Chinese, then Italian.
Mine's probably Chinese, Mexican, and then Italian. So like just the first two inversed.
But like but I do love pizza and pasta is delicious. Like
Sure.
yeah.
No, they're all good. They're all good. Hey, wait. Oh, there was just other stipulations. You can count Americanized, blah, blah, blah. Okay, just in case we were, like, fighting about something, they included some things. Hayes writes, think about some of your favorite games that have the best story / plot, and which are they? What was so good about the story? So there looks like there's two parts to this question.
Okay, Ghost Trick.
Sure.
It's well written. There are so many fun callbacks and like they lay such great groundwork. They wrap everything up. It's just a really tight story. I could pretty much say that about everything from that studio because Ace Attorney is like that as well. And they're so good at like tying like trilogies together and making like the big narrative arcs interesting.
Mm-hmm.
There's mine.
Sure. Okay. I really like the story stuff in the Metal Gear games, and that's mainly because I like how much of a weird, crazy movie they are and the fun villains. Like, I like a good bad guy in a game.
You should play Death Stranding 2.
Yeah, go figure. So next part is, now that you have them fresh, what would you think of the game if the story was untouched, the gameplay was substituted by match 3 gems kind of gameplay? Could you still recommend it only by the story? Yeah, maybe even more so.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I will happily play a game with bad gameplay if the story is good. Or I played so many games at this point. Like, there's plenty of times where it's like, oh, this game's not good, but it did this one kind of interesting thing, and I kind of needed to experience that. Stuff that comes to mind for that is like Asura's Wrath. Playing it sucks.
Yeah,
until you get into
barely
the
playing
until
it.
the until you get into the quick time events, and it's almost a hard game to show people because you
Yeah.
have to do these like really really boring and just a bit too long like mashy beat 'em up sections.
Yeah.
Where it's like, no, just stay here. It's only going to take like literally 5 minutes of me punching this guy over and over before we get to the next cool thing. Like, it's not as easy as it should be just to show that game off to somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care if the story's good. I also like match 3. That's not even like a derogatory thing here. So
Totally. Yeah. That's great. Binary Domain was like had some weird, interesting quirks about it too. That gameplay is super like generic shooter. So yeah. Singularity. It's a first-person shooter, but there's some cool shit going on in that game. People should play Singularity more because
I actually
nobody
think Singularity
did.
plays totally fine. I think that's a good game, story and good game. Deadly Premonition comes to mind. The worst part about the game is you have to play it, but that's also
Yeah.
kind of the charm.
Yeah.
So there's part of, yeah.
Yeah. Driving around with like just talking about movies to yourself, essentially, like there's some good stuff in there for sure.
But then, Deadly Premonition 2, it's like it kind of had the same thing, but it just ran so poorly, and the gameplay was so bad that I just could not muscle through it. I do not want to like shoot 10 squirrels or whatever it was.
I was wondering if Switch 2 fixed that. I haven't looked into it, but I heard that it breaks the frame rate, which means it breaks how fast the game runs. I don't know.
Weird. I mean, that game also came out on PC not too long after, so I bet that version would have ran fine. I just think the gameplay of it was like the mission structure was just really boring.
Sure.
Eber Lantern, what's the first game that scared the shit out of you?
That's a good question.
I think because I usually avoid it, so it must have been something where I was just like, I know this is scary, I'm not going to play it. I don't know, Resident Evil 4 maybe, or...
Oh, Jurassic Park on the Super Nintendo, because like it's a top-down, like almost Zelda-like thing for a while, but then when you go into a building, it turns into like a first-person thing like Doom, and some of those raptors just like jump scare the shit out of you because they just like come from the side and then you turn around, they're like in your face or whatever. Bullshit. Rasterman 7, While Gabrielini is missing, Gloria Eni, evil magical girl in practice, is back and not pleased about anime ranking going viral. Didn't include any magical girl shows for context. It's about 11 hours long with the title, ranking literally every single anime that I've watched. Jesus Christ. Okay.
Is this a real thing?
I guess so. Yeah.
Okay.
Hence, she has admitted that so that both of your favorite TV series are ones you're currently watching, and the ones you're currently watching, become magical girl shows. It's up to you to explain how that could be pulled off, if at all, and whether the experience would be improved or worsened as a result. For example, should a new magical girl character be introduced, change the setting, one of the main characters become a magical girl somehow.
Man, okay, so I'm currently watching The Pit.
I'm currently watching The Bear.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, The Pit is a very realistic doctor drama.
Yeah.
And if there was a magical girl wizard thing in there, that would be very odd.
Sure.
Maybe more of the children would have survived. So I guess that's a pro.
Yeah, there you go. That's good, I guess.
Yeah. I think it might ruin that show.
Yeah, it would ruin mine too, because the thing I like about it is that it's a character drama where kind of nothing, even though they are trying, ever really, really works out. And that seems to be the antithesis for a lot of... Madoka Magica has some gnarly fucking shit going on in it, and that show's awesome. So maybe it would make The Bear better in its own way.
I'm right after this recording about to start Ironheart. And I think she is kind of a magical girl. So that might just be the same show. But things might just be easier for her.
Technology is just magic, really. So
that's true. Yep. Science is just magic until they understand it, right?
Yep, exactly. What about your favorite TV series? What's even my favorite TV series?
So that would be Scrubs or Lost if there was a magical girl there.
Lost magical girl would be so stupid.
I think Lost kind of already had some magic going on, so maybe that wouldn't be the craziest thing.
Yeah.
I guess it would fit more in Scrubs than it would The Pit.
Sure, yeah.
In terms of doctor shows. Yeah. What about you? What's your favorite show or shows?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. For a long time, it was The Simpsons or something, because I really liked that growing up. But I don't think that's been the answer for 20 years now. It's been a long time.
All right.
I actually just don't know what my favorite shows are. I don't think about it really. Anything could be better if it's a magical girl show and it's written properly. Because you could just do fun.
I don't think that's true. I don't think The Pit would be better if a magical girl showed up and did some magical girl stuff.
She would.
I don't think a magical girl would help Severance out that much either.
Yeah. Could be interesting though.
Dead writes, how many dozens of copies would Resident Evil 9 on iPhone sell?
3 dozen.
Yeah, so this is obviously so 9 will probably come because both I think 7. Mm-hmm. I know 8 for sure is definitely on iPhone stuff, so I'm assuming 7's there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Those did not sell very well. Yeah, 9, I don't know, man.
3 dozen.
To be fair though, every year iPhones get more powerful. You can put more and more games on there, so eventually people will just be playing full-fledged games on these, and it will not be a weird thing.
Yep, pretty much.
I think we just need to wait for Gen Alpha, who don't know a world without strong, powerful smartphones, to become the I don't know, the most prevalent generation, and then it won't even matter anymore.
We're kind of getting there. We're getting there. Yep, slowly but surely. Final questions from VGC Kenny. If you had a child and you gave advice on how to play video games, what piece of advice would you be the most disappointed in if your child didn't follow it?
Inverted camera.
Wow, you had that off the top of your head. Holy shit. Yeah. I think
that it would just be hard to play with them because it's I got to change it back. And, we just have to keep swapping back and forth. That would just be annoying.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Now when I say that, I feel like I'd be one of those parents where it's if the kid starts favoring their left hand, I would put the pencil in their right hand. And I don't want to be that.
Yeah. Re-education for video games. I mean, for me, it would probably be like saving on multiple save files because I don't want to hear their complaints when they saved over something and like lost a bunch of
Or
progress.
they got corrupted or something. Yeah, that's a good one. Another one that came to mind is something about just like, don't be like a weirdo in terms of like social scenarios online. Like, I don't want you to be the one who's like leaves their mic on and are talking to other people. Like, I'm trying to think of when the reasons I don't engage in voice chat with randos. I don't want my kid to be one of those people.
Yeah.
Just constantly just like talking shit or like just like saying weird slurs or whatever. That would be pretty messed up.
Sure. Yeah, I could see that. Other advice for video games or whatever, you'd be disappointed. The inverted camera thing is hilarious because, yeah, that would be actually a problem. I could see that being a problem.
All right, that's going to do it for questions this week. Thanks, everyone, for writing in. If you want to write in next week, topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Blue Sky, the Discord channel, or Claire's P.O. Box. Are all great ways to do it. Paul, what's your game of the week?
I'm going to give you two. I'm going to say Clair Obscure when I finished that last week, and for this week, you know what? I'll say FBC Firebreak. I've been having a good time with Nathan in it.
Yeah, and mine's just going to be Death Stranding. That's what it was probably last week as well. So it's been Death Stranding for a little bit here.
Sure. Makes sense.
Death Stranding 2 specifically. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks everyone for listening. We'll see you next week.
Bye.